Resiliency. How can I be more resilient? By telling yourself that you are. Telling yourself you're already resilient. That's the thing right there, okay? When we think about trying to change ourselves, it all starts with your identity. We may think that, oh no, it's my self-talk, it's my beliefs, it's my post-traumatic stress, it's this and that. It's not. All of that comes under your identity. It all flows from that, okay? So what you want to start with is saying, I am resilient. Let's talk about when COVID hit. When I first heard about that and that we were going to be shut down, first thing I said to myself was, welcome to my world, because I was a caretaker for my husband doing hospice. I was already shut down. I'm like, welcome to my world. Number two, and this is just part of my identity, and you got to start somewhere. But my identity is literally resilience. My identity is literally overcoming adversity because I've just done it so many times. So I hear news like that, I have conditioned my brain. I've trained my brain. I don't care what you come at me with, how bad the news is. Great, great. I don't know how it's going to be great, but I'm going to figure out how it's going to be great. Okay, because why? And this is where you can go down your checklist, okay? Because I'm creative, because I'm bold, because I'm determined, okay? And if I'm none of those, like let's say you might say to me, oh, but Nancy, I'm not really like that. That's not who I am. Decide to be that, okay? So you can also go back to when you were resilient before. I mean, so my riders that have a really bad fall, or they're going through a really bad time, or they have cancer or whatever, stay focused on the outcome. Stay focused on the glory days. If you don't have any glory days, create a glory day, okay? So that's what I do with COVID. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. You know, I'm not going to get distracted with going to the gym and going to the beach, and I'm going to get like, finish my book, do another book, okay? So what I've taught myself to do is to get excited about whatever. So this isn't being positive. This is completely different bridle path in your brain. Okay, so we have this bridle path, this neural pathway, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create another neural pathway. Okay? Also, with resiliency, because I know she has another question, and it kind of all goes in together. The other thing about resiliency is what you tell yourself. So for example, and the words you use, clients in my program are not allowed to use words that are emotionally triggering. Like you're not allowed to use the word panic. You're not allowed to use the word post-traumatic stress. You're not allowed to use the word overwhelmed. You're not allowed to use all of these words. These impact your nervous system, okay? So like, no, can't use those words, okay? Well, but it's true. That's how I really feel. Okay. But see, what I'm going to teach you to do is how to generate an alternative feeling. Oh, but that's my reality. Okay, today. But as of tomorrow, we're going to learn how to create a new reality. Okay? And that's the way it works. It's kind of like this. It's kind of the opposite of therapy in a way. It's like, I don't care how you feel. I hate to say that. I mean, I do. Listen, I want to hear how you feel. But the truth of the matter is, I care about the alternative feeling you're going to generate anyway. I don't care about your reality. Listen, I was in, I'm taking up my 5-minute sign, but I was in real estate down in Delray, luxury real estate. I mean, cooking, rocking. I mean, it was so fast and furious back then that we were writing contracts at Publix during a hurricane, okay? Because we had to like shop and do contracts. That's how crazy it was. And then all of a sudden, 2008, right? What happened? Boom. The bottom fell out, all right? And so talk about resiliency. And also, actually, that was when my husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's. Thank you very much. And my son was still in a private school. So, but fortunately, with all of my training and all of my background, okay, I'm a fire walker, right? Tony Robbins, I don't look down at the hot coals. I'm like, okay. And I lead with my identity. What's my identity? I'm resilient, okay? Oh, the economy crashed and the real estate market is like flat. Okay, whatever. I have skills, I have talent, I'll figure it out. And I'm not just saying this, literally, you can condition yourself to think and go through life like this. It is so easy. Like all this talk about this is hard, that's hard, that, you know, you're not even allowed to tell me in my program that something's hard. Because the truth of the matter is your brain only knows what you're going to tell it. Tell it it's easy. Tell it you got it. And then go out there and rock it. That's the answer. Thank you.
So after resilience, what does the process of getting unstuck and breaking bad habits look like?
Okay, so I only have 5 minutes. I'm going to run through this, guys, but let's start with unstuck. So when people come to me, and most of them are stuck, that's why they're coming to me, right? So when somebody says to me, you know, I'm stuck, my answer is, and I coach by phone so that they can't slap me, okay? That's the point there. All right, it works for me, but anyway. So when they say to me, oh, I'm stuck, I'm like, if you say so, right? Like your brain doesn't know, oh, but that's how I feel stuck. Okay, now wait, that's a whole different story, okay? Feelings come and go, okay? But if you're going to say, I am stuck, understand every time you say, I am, now you've made it your identity. What is the strongest driving force? Is it feelings? Is it your past? Is it your BS stories you tell yourself? It's your identity, okay? So how are we going to get unstuck? Change your words. Really? You're stuck? How about you're in transition? That feels better, right? How about, let's elevate it some more. How about, oh my God, I'm almost there. I mean, but Nancy, that's not reality. But listen, we're bending reality. And I got this down pat because I excel at bending reality. But unfortunately, when I was younger, I was bending it the wrong way. Okay? And literally, in my past, I was the most stuck person in the world. In so many ways, so many times. That was literally my identity. That was the neural pathway I was on. I absolutely rocked it. So it was just a matter, if you're stuck and you're telling yourself all these stories, again, we're going to start by laying down a new bridle path in your brain, a new neural pathway, where you are the equestrian rock star. You are the entrepreneur rock star, okay? And then I'm going to tell you all the tools and techniques that you need to pull that off. It's not going to work. If you try to do these tools and techniques on this old neural pathway, this old identity, it's not going to work. And the reason why is because you've made ruts in that bridle path. You've got rabbit holes in that bridle path. Try getting a 2.0 software installed on a 20-year-old computer. How is that going to work for you? It's not going to work. So we need to start all over here. Next, leverage. You got to know what your leverage is. People come to me and they're not out there rocking it because they think XYZ is their leverage. Like, take a teenager. Oh, so my parents don't get mad at me. That's your leverage? So your parents don't get mad? I mean, that doesn't sound so exciting, right? So we have to go through, we have to figure out what is your leverage. So if you're stuck in your business and you flatlined, what's your leverage? Lead with your identity. All right? So that would be the second thing. And then you want to go ahead and change all of your language. Okay? So that would be the three things. And I mean, I could be here all day, but as far as getting you unstuck, you have to be able to do a pattern interrupt on yourself. Okay, so I'm a strategic interventionist, but I teach people you have to do that on yourself. Give me, somebody throw out a sentence that they say to themselves that keeps them stuck. Somebody throw out a sentence.
I'm not a Grand Prix rider.
I'm not a Grand Prix rider. Okay, I love it. So let me give you an example of a pattern interrupt, okay, and how to condition your brain. Say that to me again. Oh! What was that obnoxious thing I just said? See what I mean? Now you want to slap me, right? See what I mean? Okay. It's the same thing when you were learning how to do a flying change. Okay? You're on this lead, negative thinking, okay? And then what are you going to do? Then you're going to do a half halt. You're going to do a pattern interrupt. Now, what is the right lead that we're going to land on? What do you want to be the truth?
I am a Grand Prix rider.
I'm a Grand Prix rider. Good. So you ready for this? Now we're going to put the two together, okay? I want you to start with that old sentence again and again. When you're doing this, timing is everything. You know, the longer you think about something negative and bad and fearful, whatever, what happens, right? Sucks you in, doesn't it? It's like freaking quicksand. So timing is everything, just like on a horse. You know when you're going to that dark place. You know when you're about to, right? So let's put the two together. Thank you for volunteering, by the way. Okay, let's put the two together. Start the sentence again. Oh,
I am a Grand Prix rider.
okay, and I'm almost done. I'm taking up my 5 minutes. But listen, how hard was that? Guys, it's not that hard. It's in fact the easiest thing in the world. The key to this is repetition, 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 repetition. That is the only way to program your brain. And you, listen, you can do this with, it's raining, it's cold, whatever, all day long. Just keep conditioning your brain. And believe me, you're going to be like a race car driver. I don't know how many people in here remember sports cars with stick shifts, you know? But you're going to get so friggin' fast. Because the other thing, and I lied, I got one more thing. The other thing is not only are you your own IT director for your computer upstairs, you're also your own droid dealer. Okay, I'm serious. You don't need to go to Walgreens, okay? You don't need to get a prescription, because why? You have it already. You have dopamine, you have serotonin, okay? You got all these cool chemicals, you know? You got a whole lab going on in there, right? And the truth of the matter is that what you think, what you say to yourself, all of this, right, is going to give you dopamine pumps. That was a dopamine pump that you're a great Grand Prix rider, right? That's a great dopamine pump. The more you can get your brain to do dopamine pumps, the more it's going to help you to achieve what you want to do. You just have to learn new and figure out how to put those two together.
And say, no, I'm good at this. I am a Grand Prix rider. How How does that achieving something and not just being delusional?
And not just being what?
Delusional.
I mean, you see what you're saying, right? And this is why I'm so good at this, because I was so good at being delusional. I mean, I'm just being honest. I was using it in the wrong way. Like you're saying, without being delusional, you all do realize that all these limiting beliefs and all these negative things you're saying about yourself and who you are, guess what? That's the delusional. Honestly, that's the delusional. So, yeah. Listen, if you're saying to me, I want to go up and I want to be an astronaut, whatever, I want to be Elon Musk, I mean, these are a really, really big stretch, okay? But for everything else, listen, it begins by deciding this is where I want to go. Now, there's a gap between where I am and where I want to go, okay? You're calling that delusional. I have a different name, okay? I call it the gap of disbelief, okay? So people will say to me, well, Nancy, never going to be an equestrian rock star. That's crazy. Really? The equestrian rock star is the best that you can possibly be. Okay? There's nothing wrong with saying I'm going to be a Grand Prix rider. Maybe you'll make it, maybe you won't. But what is the negative about saying it? Because aren't you going to work harder? Aren't you going to work harder? Oh, yeah, but I don't believe it. Listen, this is what I specialize. Learning how to believe, even when you don't really believe. That gap between here and there, don't worry about it. You're placing way too much value on it. Here's what I tell my clients. It's a sweaty glove. Throw it in the bottom of your tag trunk. Forget about it. You know why? Because that's how it always is in the beginning. When you're here and you're reaching here and you tell yourself a story, listen, my husband was past tense, an Olympic level gymnast, inducted into 4 athletic Hall of Fames at age 9. I'm going to be an Olympian. Right? Seriously? You don't even have the money to be trained. Where are you coming with this? And his parents didn't support him. None of his friends supported him, right? But guess what? That was the good news. Because he was 5'6", my size. He had a cricket's chip on his shoulder. Okay. He had the short man Napoleon thing going on. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll show you. That drove him to be one of the best gymnasts in our country. Delusional? Trust me, it was delusional. But you say to him, like I did, when we first started dating, like, where did you even think and believe that you could do this? And you know what he says? He gets all pissed off. I decide to believe. So listen, it doesn't serve us to say delusional, okay? How about if we say to ourselves, that gap of belief, trust me, it goes away. It's act as if doesn't work. There's so much more to it than that. Yeah, it's all in this book. And by the way, it's over at Weatherly Stowe's at the International Fund, okay? Little plug. But anyway, listen, you have to start there. You have to tell yourself that story. And then what do? Then you show up, you act like that. You think like that. You train like that. Okay? Repeat over and over again. It's up to you to build your beliefs. But here's what I say to somebody, because they might say, well, I really don't think I can win today. And I'm like, okay, well, where's your belief at? Well, it's only at 80%. And I'm like, okay, well, where does it need to be? Well, it needs to be at 100. Really? Why are you telling yourself that story? Because it's not at 100. So how's that going to work for you today? Not very well, right? So why don't you tell yourself you're an 80? 80's all I need, baby. Are you at 50? 50's all I need. Okay? I mean, not to get spiritual, if anyone's ever read the Bible, but there's a parable, right? You can move mountains with a mustard seed. Why don't you tell yourself that story? Listen, tell yourselves the story that's going to serve you better and dull these friggin' stories that are holding you back.